Alright, what's going on, guys? Jack Kellogg here. I'm going to go ahead and make a November 2020 recap. It is December 13th, but if you guys didn't know, I got mono and strep throat at the beginning of December, so I was a little out of commission for about a week and a half. I was still trading, but I really was just focusing on myself and not really in too many chat rooms and whatever, and just focused on trading and making sure that I was getting better as quick as possible. So I am feeling better now. Throat doesn't hurt as much, and I still am a little bit fatigued and tired a lot from the mono. Should last maybe like a couple months, unfortunately, but it is what it is, and just rolling with the punches. Sometimes things happen in life, and you can't control it. You just got to learn how to accept it and learn how to deal with it. So it's basically what I did. Like I said, took my personal space from a lot of things. Haven't been in chat rooms, and that probably will continue for about another week or so. I do have a Tim Challenge webinar on December 18th. So for any of you guys that are in the Tim Challenge, I will be doing a webinar that Friday after the close. So if you guys have any questions on what's been going on, I'll be there to answer all your guys' questions. This market is just absolutely incredible. November was a really good month for me. Made a lot of mistakes, but still ended up being my second best month overall, with about 140,400 in profit. So this week was the EV week, where a lot of the EV stocks crashed, and there's a few good OTCs as well, like ADOM and WNDW. So close out the month really strong, but before that in November, first 3 weeks there wasn't much, just averaging like a couple grand a day. So you just wait, guys. You just wait, and when it turns on, you slam it. And in December, it's been on, and I've just been slamming it every single day. Really focused and trying to close out the year strong. This year's been absolutely incredible. And would it really be 2020? Like if we didn't go out with just an absolute bang of sector and sympathy plays and all this, but that's enough of that. Let's get into the November recap here. All right, so as you can see, first thing I'll point out is average win 1,600, average loss 450. Still getting good risk to reward. Not quite as good as last month, where I was making 2,200 and losing 450 per trade, but keeping that average loss around the same, which is what I like to see. Consistent losses are good. Average win a little bit less, so probably a little bit of over trading. I was getting really frustrated week 3. Made 10,000 that week, which was a really good week. A couple of years ago, but like now 10,000, it's not that good for me. And I was just basically over trading, a lot of crappy setups, took a couple of big losses. But other than that, we got really small average percent loss. Cutting losses super tight, as always, like negative 2.22 here, negative 1.82, a little bit higher average percent gain. Taking a little bit less size of my winners then, compared to less than 5% over here. Saw that it shows. Trading my winners a little bit more. Biggest profit was 8,800, biggest loss 4,000. So this month I actually didn't even have a 5-figure trade, even though I made 140,400. It just shows that these small gains add up. Like a couple thousand on a trade, you make that trade 3 times per day, like that's 6,000. That adds up. You don't need to be making, 40,000, 60,000 in a trade to make 6 figures a month. It's just all about those consistent gains, and that's what really adds up. And for my risk profile, even this year, like 300 on like a subpar setup, maybe like 500-600 on decent setup, and then as we get better and better, like I'm comfortable risking 1,000-2,000 on really big setups. And a lot of the times too, like I will risk more, but like I need a cushion on my position first. So take smaller risk, and then once I have a cushion, then I can scale if it presents itself another opportunity. So what else do I got here? Win percent, 73%. So that is new best win percent for me. And another thing I kind of want to talk about too is October was my best month going long ever, and then November this month, um, I had a new best month going long again, and now into December, 13 days in, I'm at another new best long month. And really, what this all stems down to is when I took these two big losses going long in my E-Trade account. Like my E-Trade account was very gradual throughout this year. Started with like 50, 75 next month, like 120, and then like maybe 170, and it just like slowly increased. Um, but now like I'm seeing like exponential growth in my E-Trade account, which is really cool. Like I'm starting to go up like six figures like a month in it pretty much. I think I made 80,000 in October, or yes, 80,000, and then maybe I think I made 90,000 in November, something like that. We'll see in the stats, but I took a big loss, and then that's what fueled me to get better at going long. Where I just kind of wanted to get better. Like my shorting, I did find exponential growth in my shorting throughout the first half of the year. But now it's like, okay, now I want to get better at going long too. And actually, if you look at my profit lead right now or my stats on the year, um, I'm closing into my longs matching my shorts. And I feel like a lot of people didn't see this coming. But since I am very bearish, but like I'm just getting better at going long, and I love it. Like market's great these last few months of the year. A lot of stocks are running, so I'm really happy to be able to capitalize going long. So on to the more in-depth look here. OTC, 70% of my trades, 69. Going long 60% of the time, winning 81% of my NASDAQ trades. I'm very particular on NASDAQ now, just because it's just not like my full edge. Like my full focus is on OTC. And if I am going to trade a NASDAQ, like it has to be a super easy setup. I don't want to waste my mental capital on a NASDAQ and burn out and then miss my OTC plays. So OTC's first, and then if there's a perfect NASDAQ, I will trade it. And I think that really showed this month. I was doing a really good job at only trading the best, and that's why my win percent is just so high. Long win percent 73, short win percent 75. Like I said, best win percents I've ever had in my career on a month. And I kind of give it up to the overall market. Like the overall OTCs are super hot. There's so many sectors in play. Like right now, the shroom stocks are pretty hot. Last month, the EV stocks are pretty hot. Bitcoin's floating right around that all-time high. Weed stocks were hot for a week, and it's just absolutely madness. So there's so many trades, a lot of trades to pick from, and like I always suggest, just do what's best for your edge. Like at the beginning, I would always have FOMO, like, oh, this person's making money here, this person's making money here, this person's making money here. I try to just like trade everything, and that definitely helped me grow. But now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, I know my edge. I know where I trade the best. So I don't care what anyone's doing. It's only about what I'm doing. I'm focusing on my edge and trading the best I can and not caring what anyone else is doing. So that is why my win percent is so high. It's just because, I'm fully maximizing my edge and I don't care about anybody else. So my average winning trade was 3.6 times. Pretty good. As you can see here, my trades, 140, 101 wins, 38 losses. Profit factor, 9.44, just shy of 10. I mean, look at this. Long profit factor, 12.6 long profit factor. Made 96.4 thousand and lost $8,000 going long. Like, just absolutely blowing any long progress I had out the window these last few months. And I'm just really trying to figure out like what it was. And I think it was that big loss in the market getting better. And that's simply all it was. And it's so cool because I was known as, only making my money shorting. And now I'm going long. So yeah, let's see here. 88.7. Okay, so last month was 69.6. And you see I beat my short and I beat my short again. So more money on the long side. Getting into the trades here, as I noted, best trade was 19.5 Rs. So 19.5, my average loser. My best trade was. That is pretty smaller for me. Like usually I'll have like a really big like 40 or 50 R trade every month. Like I said, no 5-figure trades. And it was just singles just adding up. And as you can see here, like the amount of four-figure trades is kind of overwhelming. It's just all nice trades, right? And this is what really just added up and made the bulk of my month. And then some smaller like singles, and then just like break even, cutting for as close to break even as I can. And then as you come down here, 2 four-figure losses. And the rest are, some of them are close here. I would count these as full-size losses. But the rest, just really small paper cuts. So I'm only taking, a couple bad, parentheses, bad losses per month. And that's how I like it. I would like maybe a few big trades, but November's still very, very solid. I can't complain too much. And now I will get into some charts for you guys. Let me just pull it up. Since it's mainly the EV stocks this month and electric vehicle, of course, I just kind of want to talk about Tesla. This stock is just absolutely incredible. I probably first started following it like 4 years ago, and one of my friends kept buying it like way down here, like $100, $200, and this thing flew, and this was $1,000 a share or 900 or something before the split. And I was like, okay, this thing, like, that's the top, right? That's the top. It pulled super hard with the market, and I was like, yep, that's the top. And as you can see from there, this thing just rallied. And it's just gone like absolutely bananas. Like from the split price, 67 post split 67 to 650, like 1,000%. After it already had done this insane move to 1,000 before the split. So I think it would be somewhere around, actually I'm not even sure what the price would be pre-split, but this thing's just absolutely incredible. And I was really stubborn all along with it. I was like, nope, it's not possible, it's not going to do it, but just kept proving me wrong. So maybe next time I see something like this in the large caps, I can take advantage with potentially investing. It's just all the hype, guys. It doesn't even matter like with the company. Like stocks really just trade like the hype. And this thing just kept holding every technical level, kept pushing. Hype's still there, and just insane. So now that there's that, this was an EV. TSNP did pop up. That's mainly a December trader. VRYYF, some trades. So we can talk about BLNK because this was an amazing supernova. This daily just held really well, and we got that full supernova move to $35. And it honestly looks like it's setting up still, which is a little insane for higher, but we'll see. Getting into intraday chart, I did short it this first red day. So we have that, blow off extension from 10 to $30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 green days. 3 days of holding green to red, which are kind of the blow off, parabolic volume. So this is exactly my edge. Getting a huge overextension, looking for the first red day. Pull up a 20-day chart here. And this was it. The overextending gap down setup on it. So what I was hoping for was not this setup. Unfortunately, it kind of failed this morning, but I saw this into the close this day, and I was like, all right, it's gapping up. Like, I'm expecting this to go parabolic to like $50 and then crash to like 25 with like halts and just insane volatility, kind of like APRN. That's what I was going in expecting. But that's not what happened. And we started failing here pre-market, so I just adapted. I'm not going to take the same kind of size that I was going to take if it did what I pictured. So basically green to red was somewhere around right here. Took a couple of jabs into these first dips and just cut because I didn't want to get caught into this until it fully broke and confirmed. So took a couple of dabbles there, just cut them, and then eventually I got it right, and I did short some here. Started washing, and then from there I was just covering on the dips and shorting the pops, trading it all the way down. Took off a bunch here, and I think I built like a 2 or 3K cushion on it from pre-market, and then it provided a perfect bounce opportunity back toward red to green into this resistance. Scaled back in, it failed, and the stock just washed out at the open. Covered my short around this 25, went long, and sold into the pop up here for $1 a share, a couple dollars a share, and then ignored it. Missed this last washout here because as it gets farther away from green to red, like I don't want to short the pops. I want to wait for a big rebound to short. I like shorting pops close to VWAP. So eventually it did wash out. Didn't long any down here, but this thing ripped, and I started getting short somewhere in here and just scaled into it into the resistance, risking green to red. And then it failed, and I was covering some at VWAP, covering some on these flushes, and then covered my last of my shares when it broke this trend right here. Broke over this high, covered the last of my shares, kind of got a little bit choppy. And then I saw that this downtrend right here is breaking. This kind of trend kind of failed to squeeze through. So I got re-short somewhere in here under VWAP, risking this top up here. And started failing, was covering into the dips. I think my best cover was here at 27. Got short at like 29 something, cover at 27 for another couple dollars a share. And missed all of this, didn't trade any of this. Didn't swing any overnight, which was a mistake. This bounce, looking in hindsight, was good for a swing entry and covering down into the morning washout. So not exactly an A++++, but it was, I would say, B plus A setup. Scaled into it, was happy with how I traded it. We can talk about MMEDF, which was a great long. Got in the 20th, out the 24th. So I was swinging it for a couple days, probably in and out. Don't really remember my exact trades on this. As you can see, the stock has really kept soaring up to, stock's really going supernova right now. So this day right here is when I got into it. Sold the last of my shares this day. So as you can see, it's just a clear OTC breakout. This should scream in everyone's face NWBO. Same kind of daily chart right near the $1 mark. If you want to type in NWBO here, same chart, dollar breakout, and there we go. So that's immediately what I was thinking with the consistent volume. Shroom stocks, like I said, beginning, they're hot. This thing went on the next leg past, this move was already nice, and then held up and kept going. So now to get into the trade, pull up 30-day 1 minute here. So this was kind of the consolidation above the $1 level, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. Really slow, but really put in that support. And I was trying to long it pretty much every day. I was trying to long it this day, like when it's just right near the multi-day breakout. And then it started going this day. And one thing that I noticed was this is different kind of action, right? Where this was just going sideways. They kept going sideways. But like once we have a dip and then we start grinding, I was like, all right, this is probably the breakout. And they're going to make it because a lot of people are used to getting, 1 or 2 cent risk. And then when it broke up this time, like you needed probably like 6 or 7 cents. So I thought that they were trying to do this on purpose so people, they were teaching people to buy it. It just kept on not working. And then when we did break out, this is the time it worked. So I got a small piece, unfortunately, because the risk was wider. And then I added into it near the close. And I just sold into this action up here. It kept going. And then once it dipped, perfect re-entry spot down here. Got in like 150, risking 145, 146. Gapped up huge, and this was the majority of my money, I think. And then, unfortunately, I left a lot on the table because I sold it right at the open. I was super happy with the gap. It went from 150 to 170. So I'm taking that 20 cents. I think I had 25,000 shares, so that was a quick 5K. Majority of the trade right there, over half. Then it failed, and I did actually short this action too. I shorted this breakdown. You can just see very simple. If you think of an OT swizzle, think about exactly it doing it the reverse way. So bottom, 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 tighter range, bids getting taken out, shorted here, covered 2/3 into the washout, and then kept the third and moved my risk to this high into the close, covered right there, and then unfortunately it did come back down and then wash out more. So I missed a little bit on that, but that's okay because I stuck to my plan. So that was that trade. Best long, best short. Now I can go over my worst trade, which was FCEL. And let's pull this one up. So let's get into the daily first. So the day I lost big on it was this day right here. And as you can see, the daily was super nice. Like it had broken out over hold on. Yeah, 350 was the breakout. Pretty much multi-year breakout in the hot sector. Stock absolutely ripped, and then I kept wanting a big trade this week because everything was ripping, and I was just fighting all month for something, a big one. And eventually this came along, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna scale into it this day because, you know, we have 1, 2, 3, like one sideways day, one blow off day, and then 2 huge wicks up here near $6. So obviously it was super heavy, near 6 these 2 days. So I was like, okay, this thing's probably gonna pull back to, you know, the 470s. And that morning, KNDI was also going, and it was on this nice multi-day run. And I missed shorting this pre-market, and I did an offering and gap down huge. So, you know, I missed $2 or $3 a share. And I was like, all right, I need to get it back. I have to make it up with size somewhere. So unfortunately, I took way too much size on FCEL this day. I think I had 50,000 shares short. And I lost. The good thing is I cut this so quick because I knew the position I was in, and I'm just self-aware of what I'm doing. Like I know I'm taking a lot of size because I want a big trade, and this setup really just didn't deserve it. It hadn't gone the extra mile yet. You know, 350 to $6, like not even 100%. So, and the daily's choppy. So now to get into the intraday. Yeah, so, nope, dang it. Yeah, so it was this day right here. And as you can see, I thought this was the blow off here. This thing just absolutely ripsticked. And then it failed to break out over $6 and continue, and had that failed follow through and put in resistance right here in the low 5s. Next morning we gapped down, and KNDI did the offering. So I was like, all right, the sector's gonna fall apart. We're gapping down, and I was smacking at pre-market. Probably had like 20K short, and then it kept holding, and it dumped out of the open. Then unfortunately, when it popped back through, like I was taking a lot of size into these pops here, just risking, you know, red to green was like 330. So I think I had like 50,000 shares, maybe from like 522, 523. And I just felt it coming. Mark Crook was warning me about this one because plug was strong, and it just squeezed right here, and I just took it off. And that was obviously a good move because it just continued to squeeze higher, continued to hold higher, and then next day it just sent it. And then I did have a good trade on it this day, and I made more than I lost on it. I lost 4K, and then I made 8 or 9K shorting and 7K going long. So this day, it just went parabolic at the open. A lot of times, we see the setup, and once it fails, and like if the bounces are really weak, we see an all-day kind of fade pattern. So after this thing slammed down, I got short in these pops to the $9 area, risking $10 right here. I wanted to see it stay super weak, or I didn't want to be in the trade. And I covered into this washout, covered some more into these washouts, but then I just started chopping myself up. When it held the higher low here, I covered my shares, and then eventually got back in over here, covered my shares again, and then just missed it. I missed this fade. But the good news was, okay, if I missed it, I'm just gonna I'll play the trend reverse. So where I should be covering, I was going long for the bounces. I was going long in here, selling into the bounces, long down here, selling into the bounces. And I had a great read on the stock. I was cutting super quick if I was wrong. And then eventually, after it was fading all day, this was my best trade on it. Once I see this weak low a day right here, I saw this weak low a day. As you can see, like when it was breaking low a day, it would sell off a little bit more. But this was super weak, and I ended up starting to get long right here at 660. Just thinking that like shorts are going to cover into the close because it's been down for so long, they don't want to hold it overnight. And then I just, once it came back and then held right here, I added more shares knowing I was going to risk this low. And I think I got maybe like 10,000 shares from like 660s risking this low, and just exactly what I thought. I just squeezed up, short started covering, and I started selling into the low sevens. And I did get my best sell up here in the 770s. I think I made 7K on the trade overall, and we can actually look. Yeah, so that day, that was my loss, 4K shorting it. And then FCEL short made 8,500 on the short, and then made 7.3 thousand on the long. So that was cool that day to take it for both sides. A little upset I missed a short, a little green to red, but it is what it is. ABMO, we can talk about this one, last one here. This was my best overnight trade I've ever had, my best swing trade. This was an EV stock, and actually, if you look in the filings, they have warrants at 25 cents. So one for it being an EV stock, two for them having warrants at 25 cents. I was actually started buying this somewhere, I think this day, and just risking this base. And I sold it down here somewhere, lost 500 bucks, but I was still watching it because, you know, this was holding this previous breakout levels up here, and it was basing, had big volume this day. So I was still watching it. And then this day it popped up, and it was my day. Okay, like this is a strong first green day, increased volume. You know, if you look at the chart back here, strong first green day with, not strong, but, you know, a trend change on the daily where like it's actually a strong daily candle. Like, look, this is very similar to this, right? And I started picking up shares near the close. This was on right around Thanksgiving. And now we can get into the intraday. Oops. Oh god. So this was it. And it got on my radar right here when I broke the high of the day. Started dabbling here in 17-cent range. And then as it closed, oh, this was the half day. Okay, this was the half day. Yeah, so as it was consolidating up here, I was just buying it on dips. I think I got like 50-something thousand shares long overnight, and it closed at like 18 cents. I think I had an 18.4 average with like 56,000. And then, as you can see, beautiful, you know, 18 to 39 cent gap up. Like, there's no way I'm not taking that because I know they're gapping up to dump the warrants, and they gapped it up. And unfortunately, I only filled some shares up here. I think I got a 38 fill on some, and then the rest I had to sell at 30 cents. So missed a good deal of money from not getting a perfect execution. I actually got stuck with 10,000 shares, and I just sold those into the bounce up here at 28. But no need to like try to hold on to that thing that's going higher there. I'm taking that gap all the time. That was my best swing trade. 55%. I did try buying 10,000 shares near the close for another swing, but it failed. So that's why it says that. But that is basically it, guys. Looking at like almost 30 minutes on the video. So I think it was a good one. Better late than never, you know. And December's just been on fire for me. So I'm looking forward to sharing my progress here and seeing my stats at the end of the month. Other than that, let's keep it up and keep working in this market. So much opportunity. Stay focused. Later, guys.